Hi everyone, welcome to Breath Yoga. I'm Adrian. Breath Yoga is this combination of breathwork and yoga that I've developed to help you create an experience of breathing freedom. And today we're going to be doing an intermediate level practice of some backward bending. And we're working along the back line of the body, which connects from the back of the head all the way down through the back, the hamstrings, into the heels. The front of the body, which is the polar opposite on the front side of the body. And we're also going to be working in the core line, which is a connection of fascia and muscle that move from the inside of the feet, inside of the legs, up through the pelvic floor, to the diaphragm, and through into all the way up to the tongue. And the sequencing is intended to help you create an experience afterwards where you are feeling really easy to breathe in and out and that your breath is light. So with that, do the best that you can. We're going to be using different breathing practices in this. One of my favorite is to breathe continuously for a few rounds of connected breathing. So it's inhale, exhale, and then followed by an exhale and retention of the breath out. Now that allows us to go into a space where we can keep the breath out for a few moments, maybe a minute, 2 minutes sometimes, depending on how long you've done your connected breathing first. And in so doing, I find that then I can pull the guts in and I can lift the core up a little bit. This helps to improve my experience of stretching into the back bends, and it also helps to enter into a kind of a quiet mental space. So with that, let's just go for it. And when you get to a place with your backward bending, then try to do a few rounds of connected breathing with me, and then let the breath either fall out and kind of come to a resting suspension, or press all the breath out and pull your guts up as you would do if you're doing Uddiyana Bandha, if you know what that is. Okay, so let's begin. Starting on your hands and knees, I'm going to start with just simple kind of cat-cow. As you press into cat pose and you exhale, you can feel the whole back chain of the body. Then as you go into cow pose and you dip your lower back and you spread your sitting bones and you lift the chest, starting to work into the front chain of the body. Go back and forth in between these two, perhaps exhaling, pulling all the guts up as you breathe out. And then coming here, you might inhale here, but I also like to exhale as I take any pose and then hold the breath out. Now from here, a good kind of daily practice to do for your spinal health is to lift your right leg and your left arm and do this kind of cross pattern. And then as you exhale, bring the knee into the face. And again, extend left arm, right leg, and exhale and bring the knee to the face. And then you do that 3 times on both sides. When you go to the other side, first dip the body into a neutral lower spinal position. Right arm, left leg. Then again, anytime you come into downward dog, want to first find a neutral position inside the lower back. Work so that your hands are turning outwards from each other. So your left hand is turning towards the left. It's like a corkscrew underneath your left hand, rotating your left upper arm out. Your right upper arm is rotating outwards as well. And then keeping the curve into your back the best that you can. It's gonna disappear. You first start with your knees bent and work through a curved lower back, spreading the sitting bones and keeping your upper arms externally rotated. Then you can begin by inhaling, and then as you exhale, press the right heel down and lengthen through that whole back chain. So that stretch that you feel from your Achilles through the hamstring, and then that connects all the way to the neck. And there's some important postural aspects to that. So we're gonna switch on an exhale, breathe in. And then as you exhale, bend the right knee and press the left heel straight down to the mat the best that you can. And then you're going to lift both heels up so that you're kind of taking any potential drag out of that chain that may be inside your ankles. Bend the knees and start to lift and spread your sitting bones up to the sky. On an exhale, you're gonna try to keep the lower back in a curve and straighten the legs so you reach the outside of your heels straight down towards the mat. Your feet are hip width apart. So breathe in. As you breathe out, lengthening the backs of the legs while trying to keep your lower back in a curve. Then we're going to raise the right leg. As you do so, see if you can engage the buttocks in such a way that you are pulling from the upper buttocks to raise the leg up. Yeah? And key here, as you keep that leg lifted, is to bring your right shoulder to externally rotate and move the small toe down a little bit. So if you can internally rotate that right leg, then you'll start to feel this pull all the way through to your lower navel. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, we're gonna send the right leg forward into a low lunge. Now we're working on the front of the left leg, as you can feel. As you lift up onto the fingertips, you continue to look kind of straight down with your eyes, so you're not lifting your chin higher than you need to. And while you keep your face directly forward, you want to lengthen and lift the chest up nice and tall. You want to, at the same time, as you press with your left leg, see if you can kind of lift into the back of the leg. And you'll notice that the more that you sort of press from the front of the leg, that this will help to open up the hamstring on the left side. So working both sides. And then we're gonna step back, we're gonna switch. So keeping your good position with your hands, as you put your hands down, and you step back into downward dog, we keep kind of reapplying this alignment. So with the arms, one thing you can do is you can bend the elbows and then drop the elbows forwards while you see if you can keep the upper back wide. And then you straighten the arms. I've got my knees bent so that I can encourage the lower back to remain in a curve. Now, if I can keep that curve in the back and straighten the legs, that would be amazing. Probably it's going to start to round my back a little bit, but you try. Breathe in. As you breathe out, reach through the outer edges of your feet down towards the mat and keep reapplying that external rotation in the upper arms. Now from here, let's do a little vinyasa through knees, chest, chin, and cobra. From here, you can create a rounded upper back plank by lifting the heels, letting the transfer the pressure move through the leg bones, through the hips, into the upper back. And then from here, I'm going back the other way. It's almost like a cat-cow. So as I drop the knees down, then I come back into cow pose, lifting the tailbone up and continuing that arch in the lower back. Now here's a great place to try breathing out and holding the breath out as you come into Cobra. So you can come down into the floor, drop the forehead down, and then there are many ways to do this, but we can come up onto the fingertips, breathe in, and then as you breathe out, just gently come up. No pain in the back. See if you can, in fact, kind of lift the lower ribs up, which is a lot easier if you exhale and keep the breath out. So breathe in, and then consciously breathe out and hold the breath out. And then you come back down. And then we come back into plank and then downward dog. So first I tuck the toes, I lift the knees up, and I press straight up, do the best you can. And I want to keep that curve in the lower back as I go down dog. So I bend the knees, I arch the back, and send the sitting bones into the sky, keeping those upper arms rolled out, wide spacious area around the place between the shoulder blades. Now, do the best you can to spread your sitting bones. And then as you exhale, begin to reach the heels down to the mat. Now, second side, let's inhale. Again, as you raise the left leg up, that you are squeezing from the mid upper butt the best that you can. So lifting up, if you can, internally rotate the left leg. And then as you exhale, this knee comes in, I lift the right heel, I'm propelling forward. I'm gonna come into a lunge, drop the left foot onto the space between your hands. It's as if your feet are hip width apart if you were standing up at the front. I lift up onto my fingertips so I get length and distance. And then I'm pressing the back leg up while lengthening and seeing if I can get the whole front chain of the space from the top of my right foot up to the throat. There is, in the back leg, some internal rotation action. And in the front leg, there's this external rotation action. So this external rotation in the left hip allows me to ever so slightly pull the tailbone up into the sky. Breathing in, and then as you breathe out, you're gonna step into downward dog and we'll repeat the sequence. So again, bend the elbows, roll the inner elbows back, let the head come through. As you breathe out, reach the heels to the mat. We're gonna come through for the same kind of vinyasa through knees, chest, chin, and cobra. With each motion, try to get to the extent of your asana through the exhalation. So on your next inhale, you propel forwards. Breathing in, come forwards. And then breathing out, drop the knees, arch the back, and bring the chest and the chin down. Another breath in. And then you can keep the hands down this time so it's a little bit smoother. Exhale and come back. And then let's go to child's pose just briefly. You can keep your hands up at the front. Roll those inner elbows up and take the head down. From here, lift up as you round the back through kind of a cat. Release from child's pose. Once again, every time you come to down dog, tilt the tailbone up and spread the sitting bones. Now, breathe in and breathe out, same action, bend the knees and come back, spreading the sitting bones. As you inhale, stay here, and then as you exhale, straighten the legs. Now we're going to do this again. So raise the right leg up with some variations though. Lifting up, try to avoid the tree. Squeeze in the mid to upper glutes. And then send the right leg forward. This time we're going to come up. Place the hands onto the front knee. So I've got this strong left leg action. Again, back legs are typically internally rotated. Front legs are going to be externally rotated right at the hip. I'm going to press strongly down because as I push into my arms, I can feel the serratus anterior wrap around from the ribs into the lower navel, creating a core work Uddiyana Bandha sort of action. So let's take a few breaths. And then you'll follow by exhaling out, holding the breath out. Now, if you feel that these actions, they may start to lengthen or give you a little bit more stretch on the psoas muscle and the quads of the back leg. Now, as you bring your arms up, you scoop and you bring the thumbs to face straight back. So this is a thumbs up position where I'm reaching up through the side body. And then I'm gonna let the thumbs come back to keep my upper back wide. And again, when you do these poses, see if you can exhale, hold the breath out, and then come back. So maybe breathe in deeply and then breathe out and try it again. Coming back up, step the hands down, coming into downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. As you exhale, again, straighten the legs and stretch through that back chain. Lifting the heels, coming forwards, rounded upper back like you're doing at cat pose. Then you go into the same opposite action through cow pose into knees, chest, chin. Here again, breathing in. And as you breathe out, lift the chest. Now you can do child's pose in between if you need the rest in the back, or just come straight into downward dog, either one. As you come into downward dog, then you're again starting with that arch into the lower back. As you arch the lower back, this is easier for some people than others. You want to at the same time pull the lower navel in at the same time while the back is arching. So this is the breaks if you overarch. Okay, breathing in, breathing out, and we come back. And again, breathe in, breathe out, reach the heels to the floor. As I take the outer elbows and I scoop them back, they're a little bit bent, then I can feel the upper arms with an external rotation that is connected to the serratus anterior, pulling into the lower navel. Now, left leg coming up. Again, be conscious that you are doing your best to internally rotate that left thigh. Then lift the right heel, propel that leg forwards. If you were standing, your feet would be hip width apart. So your left foot is about what it would be if it was hip width apart from your right foot. Coming up, we'll do 2 breaths. Exhale, hold the breath out. Okay, now, again, let's just do this one time. If you'll notice that in order to get the right position for the arms, I am coming up as if I'm going, yes, rolling my thumbs up. I bring the hands up and back. I keep my right leg quite strong. If you need to adjust it, bend the back of the right knee, arch the back a little bit, and then reach back strongly through that right leg. Now, on an exhale, take your back bend and see if you can just kind of same time lift up through the ribs. I go through entire vinyasas without breathing. And so that's the thing, it's hard to communicate while teaching, but if you can, move through these poses with as little breath as you can. Or taking big breaths when you do inhale, but holding the breath out for periods. So let's go through that same vinyasa. Inhaling, letting the breath rise into the body. Exhaling, bend the knees, bend the elbows, knees, chest, chin. Inhaling, coming up. And then exhaling, dropping back. And again, child's pose or straight to down dog. Arch the back as you come into the pose. Pull the lower navel back so there's this bandha action, and then lift the sitting bones. Breathe in, breathe out, and straighten your legs. Next one, warrior one, same action, a little bit different stretch in the psoas. Raise the right leg and keep that upper right arm externally rotated. Sorry, internally rotated. Bring the right leg forward, left leg down. Now that back leg, as with most standing poses, all the ones that I can think of, the back leg is internally rotated, okay? So there's this action here, and you can see that in how the toes are facing at an angle. This is key for these poses. And then I push into that left leg, try to get to the outside edge of that left foot. As I turn forwards, then my right hip is going to be slightly externally rotated. And this then allows my tailbone to lift slightly, my navel to pull back. As my navel pulls back, I can same time lift the chest. Now, same action with arms. I'm gonna start with my palms back, and then I'm going to scoop up through the small fingers. Bring the hands together and reach up through the side body. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, you can take the thumbs between the shoulder blades. And again, with an exhale, slightly drop back into a little back bend. Reach the arms up, and bring them down. Just for the vinyasa, let's come up with the arms on an inhale and then step back into down dog all the way on one exhale. So breathing in. Okay. Next vinyasa, you can either do knees, chest, chin to cobra like we've been doing, or we can do plank, chaturanga, upward dog. And the difference is that you keep your knees off the floor with strong engaged legs. Okay, so I'll demonstrate that second option. You can pick whichever one you like. So lift the heels up, come forward to plank. As you exhale, bend the elbows next to the body. I flip the toes back, come up on the top of the feet, engage the legs. And then step back into down dog. Again, I like very much to keep an exhale in upward dog and cobra. Okay, left side. Raising the left leg up as you inhale. Coming forward, placing the left foot about hip width apart if it were. Right leg comes back. I like to just kind of slightly turn the left toes out to the sides. Strongly engage that right leg. Internal rotation of the right thigh. Navel comes in. Okay, we're gonna raise the arms, bring the hands together on an inhale, bend the elbows, take the thumbs between the shoulders on an exhale, and then back bend, okay? And then release, let's bring the arms up on an inhale, down dog on an exhale. Next, inhale to plank, chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin, cobra, or upward dog. Try to exhale, keep the breath out as you do your upward dog or cobra. When you do your downward dog, again, shoulders, lower back. Next, we'll do into camel pose. Place the feet down onto the floor and come up. Now, if you are feeling a little more sensitive, you can bring the heels a little bit higher. You can also use blocks underneath your hands so that you don't drop back as far. Now with this, I'm going to see if I can get my ribs to rise up. And in order to let the ribs to rise up without overly arching the back, I'm not doing the back bend as I do this action, I'm just simply getting taller, getting traction in the spine. And you'll notice that the navel comes in. And in order to do that, then of course it's better to hold your breath out to get this kind of traction in the chest. So we're going to do some, say, 3 rounds of connected breathing. Hold the breath out, lift the chest, and then come back into your into your camel pose, like this. When I get into this, I like to then exhale again and lift the ribs even more. So always trying to get this traction in the lower back. Your hands can be down, can be however you like, could be on the hips if you prefer. Let's do 3 rounds of connected breathing. breathing into the chest and then relaxing the breath out. Then we come back, you can sit down onto the floor. Next pose I like to do after this is a forearm stand or Pinchamayurasana. To get this right, you may need to use a wall. And to begin to support the muscles that help to support the strength inside the shoulders and this wrapping around into the lower navel to create a bandha action to support your posture, then we can feel what those muscles are like if you bring the fingers to tent in front of your face and the elbows out to side. Then as you exhale, you bring the elbows in and you can feel that there is some action on the side of your body, probably. Let's do this 2 more times. You breathe in, and then as you breathe out, keep the palms apart and the elbows together. One more. Now, if you were to keep that action, lengthen the body, and you bring your hands so the palms are apart and the elbows are in, and there's this feeling like this is moving around and it's almost ending up just below your navel as you lift the chest. Let's keep this action and place the palms down onto the floor, onto the mat. So now, with your elbows down, see if you can externally rotate the upper arms. And in order to support you coming up, we can inhale, hold the breath, and then do like a little fake exhale. So it's something like you breathe in fully, and it's like a little grunt. Now, keep your elbows here. You can walk the feet forwards a little bit. And then we're gonna inhale, hold the breath, make the grunt, lift one leg, and then lift the other leg to meet it. If you don't want to do this, or if it's too challenging, you can either go to a wall or you can just raise one leg after the other. Now, when you come up to the top, if you can, exhale and push harder into the elbows. And you can feel that same sort of action that we did earlier with the palms apart, the elbows coming together, that this is rolling and meeting at the space between your lower navel, keeping the strong action, then you press up through the toes. And then coming back. You take child's pose if you like. And then we'll do wheel pose or Urdhva Dhanurasana. Bring the hands to the mat, bend the elbows, and come back into down dog again. Full breath out as you straighten the legs. Next, look forwards, bend your knees, and come to jump and sit down. Now, We lay down onto the back. So if I keep the same sort of principles in my shoulders and upper back as I had in the standing poses, I would have my thumbs almost like touching the floor like this. And you can feel that same way that this works here with the serratus anterior to move that action into the lower navel. Now, I'm gonna ignore that for just a moment. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a wheel pose, holding the breath out. And to get into this, we wanna do some connected breathing first. So we'll do 5 rounds of conscious connected breath work, breathing into the chest powerfully and letting the breath fall out. Breathing into the chest powerfully and letting the breath fall out. And then when you're done, when you hold the breath out, you'll slip the hands underneath, keep the breath out, and move up. And again, with these back bends, if you can find just even a little bit more space to exhale, pull the navel in, lift the chest, great. Keep the breath out. So raise the hands up behind you and let's breathe. 5 rounds, hold the breath out and find yourself in a beautiful wheel pose or some variation, just lifting your hips up as well is fine.
Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe into the heart and relax the breath out. Cycle the breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Connect the breath one to the next. Without pause, breathe in and let it go. Now let the breath stay out, slip the hand under the shoulders and press your way up. See if you can pull the belly back just even more, lift the chest more, press to the insides of the feet, press to the balls of the feet. Keep the breath out if you can. When you need to breathe, you can come back down. Otherwise, just continue to keep the breath out. Let's rest for a few moments. Take a breath in and out. Going to begin round 2. We're going to do 10 breaths this time. Lift the arms and breathe into the heart and let it go. Keep cycling the breath one to the next. You're breathing through the nose still. Full, powerful breath in and a relaxed breath out. Inhale, let it go. Inhale and let it go. Just 3 more now. Let the breath stay out. Press the hands on the shoulders and press up. Exhale all the remaining air. Pull the lower navel in, scoop the lower navel in and back. Press to the balls of the feet, letting the inner spiral of the legs carry your chest forwards. You can take it more deeply if you need to, and then release onto your back. When you're ready, you can just take a resting breath in and out. We're going to do one more round of 10 breaths. So when you're ready, lift the arms and just connect your breaths one to the next. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. One to the next. find your own rhythm. Simply powerfully breathing into the chest and relaxing the breath out. 4 more. Keep going. Now get ready. Full deep breath in and out. Take the hands underneath. Contract the navel and press up. Empty the lungs entirely if you can. When you need to, you can return onto your back or continue to stay as long as you can hold the breath comfortably out. And resting onto your back once you're finished.
Next, we'll come into a recline twist. Pick up your hips and shift them over to the right a little bit. Then take your right leg on top, double cross the knees if you can. If not, you can just bring the knees together, is also okay. And then bring your knees over to the left side. Place the left hand onto the right knee. And always see if you can breathe out, hold the breath out, and lift the belly. Coming to the other side. Bring your knees back down. Shift your hips first to the center, then over to the left. Double cross your legs. Bring the knees over to the right side. Breathe in. As you breathe out, open and hold the breath out. Then we release. You can bring the knees to the chest. If you like to get more fancy, you can roll up any way that you like. Cross one leg over the other. And then come up. Place hands down. You can either jump back or step back. Coming into down dog. Breathe in. Reach the heels down and breathe out. Bend the knees, look forward. So we're going to jump through and sit. Bring the legs forwards. And we'll do one forward bend to finish. As I come forwards, I see if I can arch the lower back as always. Keep a neutral curve if you can. Press into the tented fingers into the back. And internally rotate both thighs to help you to create this action where it spirals through and lifts into the lower back. Reach forward, grab the feet, however you like. Keeping the inner legs stretching forwards. And then without lifting the chin too much, see if you can still continue to look straight forward, a diagonal plane, lift the chest, breathe in. As you breathe out, take your chest down onto the legs and hold the breath out. So deep breath in first. Now, let's just check and see. You can finish with some meditation and shavasana. However, let's just test our breathing freedom. See if the thesis is right. So sit how you're comfortable. If you need a block, put it under your tailbone. If you can put your right foot on top of your left thigh like this, great. If you can put your left foot on top of your right thigh, great. We didn't do much hip work, but that's okay. Now again, I spread the sitting bones, keep a curve in the back. Tops of my thighs are internally rotated. My lower navel is coming back. My chest is lifted up and my throat's pulling back, and I'm rising up through the crown of the head. Let's just enjoy a few breaths into the bucket handle, the side. So you place half your hands onto your ribs, half your hands onto your flesh, and enjoy the feeling of the ribs opening up as you breathe in. Next, let's place the hand onto the chest and enjoy the pump handle effect. So your sternum is moving away as you breathe in, and this happens at the end of the inhale. So you first feel the ribs expanding, and then the breath continues to rise up. And you should be able to feel the sternum moving under your hand. Okay? While at the same time, not closing off between the shoulder blades. One more. I hope that was helpful for you, that you feel a nice sense of expansion inside your lungs. That's it for today. Take rest after you're done. If you'd like to follow with some pranayama practice, some nadi shodhana, there's a link up there that you can follow with a recent video of mine on nadi shodhana. Thanks so much. Namaste, and I'll see you on the next video.